Look, I get why the government wants my money. I get why restaurants, my bank, and my kids want my money. But why in the world does the church want my money? Many people believe that money and religion simply shouldn't mix. It's like oil and water. It's like... I should look up other things that don't mix. For some, they shouldn't mix because money is evil, corrupting everything that it touches. Don't touch that dollar. It's probably covered in germs and demons. For others, they shouldn't mix because religion is evil, with preachers who try to pry piles of cash from those with weak minds and a hunger for hope. The word of the Lord from Hesitations chapter 6. Pastor needs a new jet. Hallelujah, flying in style. Hallelujah, flying in style. Both extremes raise a great question. Why are churches, temples, mosques, any religious institution so quick to ask for money and to tell you what to do with it? At a basic level, there are three reasons as to why religion has a legitimate interest in how its adherents spend their hard-earned cash. The first is practical. They need it. They need it to keep on the lights, to kick on the air. Whew, it is hot in here. Whew. Uh-oh, I think Jesus forgot to pay the light bill. They needed to pay a pastor and to do ministry in your city. Plus, keep in mind that churches do much more than open their doors on Sunday morning. For more than 1,000 years, religious communities have been the leading providers of education, healthcare, and service to the vulnerable around the world. The miracles of healing and innovation that these services provide is made possible by God through ordinary means. The ordinary means of generous, faith-filled people. Who, me? The second reason is pastoral, or out of concern for one's well-being and spiritual growth. Jesus once said, "Where your treasure is, there is your heart." I believe he also said, "God helps those who help themselves." No? He never said that? That's not in the Bible? I wouldn't know, I've never read it. In other words, money is such a powerful thing and of such earthly importance that how one decides to spend it tells you a lot about who they are on the inside, about what's truly important to them, and where their hope is anchored. Therefore, any person of faith who's serious about examining their deepest hopes and their core values, and any leader in the faith who truly cares about the maturity, growth, and character of her or his people, must address what's done with money. The third reason is philosophical. People who believe in God live under certain philosophical implications about their belongings. For example, if an all-creating and eternal God exists, then all that we see actually belongs to him. It was made by his hands. It was here before we existed, and it will remain long after we're gone. No one really owns anything. We are simply momentary managers. Therefore, a person of faith will be drawn, with the help of their church and their spiritual leader, to consider what it means to rightly manage God's goods. That's why in Christian circles you may hear talk of stewardship, and in Islam you'll find an emphasis on the giving of alms. It's all about aligning one's possessions with the will of their rightful owner. Now, can churches and religious leaders abuse these ideas and demand too much? Absolutely. But that's far from typical. For example, the average Christian gives about 2% of their income back to the local church, which falls far short of the 10% that Christianity throughout the centuries has taught as ideal. 10%? That's like a lot of percent. Isn't God being a little greedy? Not really. Picture this. Let's say God gives you 10 bananas. He says, "You keep 9 and send me 1. Then he gives you 10 pizzas. He says, "You keep 9 and send me 1. Then he gives you $10. He says, "You keep 9 and send me 1. Then he's like, "I'll give you 10 cookies." God might need a nutritionist, just saying. You keep 9 and send me 1. That's 10%. But look at our side and look at his. Now tell me, who's getting the better end of the deal? Who's getting blessed? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I was too busy eating these cookies. You want one? Exactly. Sure.